students. And I would like to share my experience in my journey and to talk about the roles of the investment company to create such a successful opportunity in the Middle East. Our topic today is a very exciting topic. And when we talk about the Middle East, let me make some definition about it. Some people, when they said Middle East, they might talk about the GCC, which is 6 countries: Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and United Arab Emirates, Oman, KSA. While the other people, they are talking about this 6 GCC countries plus the North African countries, which is Egypt, Libya, Tunisia, Morocco, Algeria, Mauritania. But in my viewpoint, if we are gonna talk about Middle East, we should add Pakistan and Turkey because they have a strong tie-up with this region. And why the Middle East is exciting region to do such a great business for the international entities around the world. Let's do some analysis about this region or some definition. Well, the Middle East, if we talk about this land, it's a mix between old and new historical, or if we go back to the history, more than between Egypt and Mesopotamia, the Iraq, it's between 3000 BC till 7000 BC. And if we talk about the GDP, the gross domestic production, and we take that as a scale. For example, if we take United States as an example, so we will find the difference between the richest state and the poorest state is only 5 times. If we shift to Europe and we do the same, we will find the difference between the richest and the poorest is maybe around 15 times. But if we come back to the region and the Middle East, we will find the difference between the richest and the poorest is 100 times. So imagine that. So this is really a bargaining opportunity for the international entities to come to this region, not only to send the talent CEOs or the talent top managers, not only this, but to understand the behavior and the local environment, and so that they will have the easiest access to enter to that market. So in my viewpoint, and according to the researchers and the decision makers, Middle East is one of the bargaining opportunity zone to make a great profit and a great opportunity for the business. Let's talk also about the population. There is a contrast and variety and diversification in this region, which we can find. Let's say about the population. If we talk about Pakistan, it's around 200 million. And let's take Egypt as an example, it's around 90 million. And Bahrain is only 1.5 million. If we go deeply inside one country itself, we'll find there is a difference inside the one country between region and others. I do believe Pakistan, they have different regions with different languages, even with different climate. And we can compare the same example to other countries. In Egypt, you will find in the south and the north, there is different, it's a mixed color country, and different races in the society and different. That's why this is create the competition. and create the local environment for the international entity to come and to invest in this region. If I focus more and more in our work, what we are doing back in the worldwide capital is one of the international entity to do the investment, funding, lending, and to do the partnership and to create the small and medium enterprises. Even we can participate with the governments and the private sector as well. So we select the successful project, either it's private sector or government sector, and encourage the young and the youth sector from the society to do their ideas and their business, and even support them in the advanced stage to create, to shift them from the small or micro projects to the medium and large project. So normally if we select one project and we like really the idea of that project, we offer two scenarios: to offer the partnership with the clients, or to offer, and if the clients reject, then we offer the lending module based on the feasibility study, which is being offered from the clients after the compliance due diligence from our side and the approval. Then we can lend the fund which is required to the project, and we give grace period for 1 or 2 or 3 years, and then we go ahead with the repayment period, which can reach to the 15 or 20 years sometimes. And if the clients in between came and want to make early settlement, there is some charges is applicable. So this is how we do our, or you can say, this is how we create our bargaining opportunity, win-to-win situation for both parties, for the investors, for the lenders, and for the client or the customers. And in between bracket, the innovation should be there from the client side and from our side as well, to create a successful story. So I encourage each student in the field, in the business sector or in the business field, to go ahead if he have or she have any idea in their mind for the future to start up with a small project. We are there to encourage them to create a successful story for both sides, and to support and to be a partner or to lend. And not only about that, or not only about startup, but we can support also in advanced stage in import, export, and opening a new market as well. One more point I would like to add: nowadays, or at the stage of time which we are living, e-commerce is very important. If we go back in 5 or 10 years, we can find only 10% from the society can use the e-commerce to purchase their goods. But now, if we just make any survey or any research, we will find 30 to 40% from the society in the Middle East, they are using the e-commerce, such as Amazon or Noon or XYZ. So the e-commerce is the one of the future part of the trading around the world, and which will add a huge value to the business in the region and outside the region as well. So I hope that I cover a little bit from the topic which we are talking about today, and any students who have anything in mind, any idea, he can share it with us, with me, and my doors is open to support. Because one day I was sitting at the student as your place, and I was a student as Dr. Azim said, and now I got the opportunity to the practical life, and the business opened the doors. You cannot imagine. Sometimes you are meeting politicians, you are meeting presidents, you are meeting prime ministers, you are meeting top VIP people from United Nations, from the Arab League, from the Islamic League, from everywhere, trying to develop their countries. Since we are also doing the government partnership, or supporting them in their infrastructure projects or XYZ projects. I encourage any students to go ahead and to work in the business, and the most important thing, not to give up in the middle of the journey, because there is a lot of and huge challenging which can meet anyone who's working in the business, especially the pandemic which we go through it, the COVID-19, and there was some freeze and hold from the operation for the financial institution worldwide. And we were, I mean, the sector itself, the business sector was struggling during 2020 and 2019, but we learned a lot of lessons from that, and we wrote our reports and our research, and we advised the decision maker around the world in the financial institution and the financial company to not hold the lending or the investments during any international pandemic, because this will lead to a lot of progress and a lot of development during the crisis time, which will give a very good results after that. But if an artificial fear from the doing the business during the crisis, this will lead to collapse and down costing and termination a lot of stuff around the world, like what had happened in the aviation, oil, all the fields did down costing and termination, a lot of stuff. So which we were against that, and we wrote the reports and we advised the decision maker around the world to be bold and take the decision and to continue the doing the lending, the investments, because this is will give a great significant result after the crisis times. So I hope this cover all the points of the business or the role of investment company, which they are trying to do to improve the business operation around the world, and and keep the companies in the right track internally and externally, maintaining their agreement together to keep the company in the chain of the operation. So I hope I'm not taking a lot of time from your time today, and I hope this cover all the points. And if any one of the students have any questions in the mind or any idea, need any support from our entity, and not only our entity, we do have some arms in Europe as a financial arms in Switzerland. Also, we can support the micro and the small projects, so that it can be real projects in the future after graduation for the students, and might take them to some place which they are not expecting right now. Might take them to the United Nations, might take them to the somewhere which is not in their mind at this moment of time. Thank you, Dr. Azim. Thank you for Pولتون University.
Yeah, thank
And
you. Thank you, Mansoor.
Thank you, Doctor. And I'm
I
ready
have,
for yes,
yeah,
please.
it's a great introduction. Mansoor, the group of students normally we are having here who are attending and who are going to attend the recording. They are the business students. They are young, most of them they are the full-time students.
Right.
I would first of all I would like to know, can you share your experience that how you moved from the banking career to the investment company, although they are
Right.
within the same domain, but they are entirely two different operations.
Right. Thank you, Doctor, for your questions. And it was unexpected situation for me to move from the banking sector to the investment sector, and all the people were surrounding me at that time were against me, because I was like a traditional employee in the bank. However, I was extremely perform with achieving my target, not only overachieving my target. And that's why I've been promoted in the bank itself. And then one of my clients, who was a client in the bank, he motivated me, and he told me, look, Mansoor, why you are such an active young man, and there is investment field, why you don't shift from the banking field to the investment field? And this client, he was a priority client. He have a big wealth in the bank, but he liked my way of working, and he told me, Mansoor, you are full of energy, and I think if you shift from banking field to the investment field, you will achieve extremely excellent targets. Well, I thought about his advice to me, and then I took the decision, and all the family members, the friends, all the people, my colleagues in the bank, even my managers in the bank, because I was top achiever, they were against me, but I took the risk, and I took the dream part of my life to achieve to a high level of working, and then I shift from the banking field to the investment field, and I came to know that through that client, our founder, Mr. Brosh Baker, back in California, in Los Angeles, and I tie up with him, and we create the branch of the Middle East, and he introduced me to the head office in California, and back in the regional office of Asia in Hong Kong. And then I start my journey in the investment field. Not only this, some of the Switzerland company right now, they are trying to attract me to take me away from the American
Great,
company.
Mansoor, yeah, it's great, and really,
Thank you.
we always tell our students that how determined you are, right? And it is, if you're motivated, if you are energetic, and the sky is the limit. And if you have to be focused towards your career. Mansoor, is it possible? I have questions started coming from our students. Before I go to the question, the one quick, would you quickly briefly explain or introduce your company to us? What is this company? What is the origin of this company, and the scope of operations? What countries you are dealing with, if it is possible?
Yeah, sure. We are worldwide capital. We are American entity based in California, Los Angeles, and our regional office in Hong Kong, and the Middle East branch, which I'm in charge with in Dubai. We are dealing with the government sector and the private sector as well. We are doing our business to support the government sector to do their infrastructure project, or they fulfill their inquiry and needs in any fields based on the sovereign guarantee which the central bank of the government issue. And based on that sovereign guarantee, we do funding. There is no limit for the funding with the governments. And we do our business in the private sector as well, based on the two concept or two module, the partnership concept or the lending concept according to the feasibility study, which should be attested from KPMG around the world. And we normally involve in a lot of fields, but when we select the project and we give the approval from our compliance, which a great team do the due diligence back in the United States or Hong Kong, we select the safe zone. And when I say the safe zone, away from the political problem or wars or any social problem, we select the project or the geographical zone of the project to have the safety first, and then we go ahead with the project. So I hope this covers the
yeah,
question.
exactly. It's fine. Thank you very much. The question from Maz, he is asking that what is your opinion on investment at this point of time, and we as a student, what advice would you give us or recommend us based on your experience to invest, which would lead us to success? No, I would add another point into this question, referring to our meeting discussion last week. You mentioned that companies, your company supported many organizations during the period of pandemic even. Although the overall many countries, they were the companies were not positive towards the environment, but investment companies step forward, and you act as a savior to the infrastructure of many countries. Like you gave the example of Egypt, that Egypt was not affected with the pandemic as such compared to the rest of the world.
Right.
So
that's
just
right.
combined these 2 points into one answer.
That's right, sir. So if I answer, I would like to tell Muaz, first of all, you have to believe what you are doing, Muaz. You have to believe in yourself, to believe in your ideas, which is in your brain, so that, as Dr. Azim said, there is no sky, there is no limits. And one day your thoughts will be implemented. And during the pandemic, as I mentioned earlier, a lot of financial entity around the world, they stop and freeze and hold their involvement in the business zone, while our one of unique entity around the world, they never freeze or hold. We were one of them, and we select carefully the projects, either it was government or it was private sector, and we go ahead during the pandemic and we select some project in Egypt, and we go ahead with it in the private sector and in the government sector as well, while we face and we struggle in some countries to go ahead because the pandemic time, it was very tough to start up the projects. But what I can say over here in this part, if we go ahead and if we complete our work towards the setup of the projects, regardless to the pandemic or the financial crisis or XYZ challenges, which is meet us in the journey of setting up the project, if we ignore the crisis or the pandemic and we go ahead, I think, in my viewpoint, the golden time to invest the money, it's not during the normal time, it is during the difficult time, because if you compare in the market or if you monitor the market, all or the majority of the financial institution or the banks or the investment entity around the world will freeze and hold the operation. So if you work against this, you will be the winner, because the crisis time will have a limit. It will not be an infinite It will be a limit, and after the limit over of this pandemic, you will be the winner. You will be the winner. And so my advice and my answer, the great time to invest is during the pandemic, the crisis, the difficult time. If you follow this strategy, you will be the winner compared to the other competitors in the market. I hope this covered the question, Doctor.
Yeah, thank you very much. And what could be the possible sectors where people should start the project? I mean, which sector, like education or manufacturing? What sector are more safe?
Well, Doctor, this is a very good question. Thank you for that. And in my viewpoint, if we talk about the very good sector to invest with, well, the manufacturing fields. The manufacturing field is one of the best field to invest, and because the countries or the manufacturing institution will never stop. Since there is a life in this earth, in this planet, there will be people around the world. I believe we are 7 billion, if I'm not wrong, the population of the earth and the globe. We will never stop utilizing the products, either it's food, clothes, cars, aircrafts, XYZ products. The second priority, I will give the answer to the education, because education, the people will, during any pandemic or crisis, if the people are following, or the decision makers around the world, they are following the ordinary or the traditional concepts of freezing and hold all the operation, the education will never stop. The education will be through the online. Each student can sit at his home doing his following the lectures and doing the research online. And so the second priority I would give to the education. I hope this covered the question, sir.
Thank you, Mansoor. Thank you. We have a question from the global marketing class. The question is that if there is a local company operating in UAE and they want to expand their business to other part of the world, so how this investment companies, like yours or your company, can help them?
Yeah, that's right, sir. Thank you for the question. Well, my company can help them. This is absolutely. If they have a local entity over here in the United Arab Emirates and they want to expand or extend in the region or worldwide, they are most welcome. They can do their visibility study and about their business and about their new branches, which they are aimed to open in the region or around the world. And then I will follow up this case to sending it to the compliance team in Hong Kong or back in the United States to get the approval. Then we can go ahead with the agreements and sign with them and support them to do their branches.
That's great.
Thank you.
And how easy is it to for an entrepreneur to get the funding approved from your company?
Well, Doctor, there is some factors or some scale which we do the approval. I mean, for the compliance team. First of all, the safety, the geographical safety away from the wars and the politician or political problem. If the zone is safety, then regardless to the field, if it's industrial or commercial or education or XYZ field, we go ahead and we do the steps of the due diligence. If everything is okay, then we can do the approval and then signing the agreement. And even sometimes we like the project and we offer to the clients the permanent partnership. If they accept the concept, then We just need from them to sign on the agreement, and that's it. And we'll do our funding and our management according to the agreed between both parties, and that's it. I hope this covered the question, Doctor.
Right. So it depends on the business model, what you're trying to say, that it depends on the business model and how that investment is safe for all stakeholders.
Indeed, that's right. That's right.
And how long your relationship remains with the company, with the borrower, or the company you're funding? How long you stay, and what is the scope of your support after the
right. If both parties agreed to be as a permanent partnership, so our relation will never end. But if the client select the scenario of lending and to borrow the fund, our relation will start from signing up the agreement till the last year of repayment back the last installment to the company. So if we give approval, for example, of 3 years grace period plus 15 years repayment period, so in this case, our relation will remain for around 18 years, the 3 plus 15 years.
So it means the funding is for long term.
That's right. That's right, for long term.
Then markup, the rate of return would be not the rate. The markup would be the less, right? If it's a long term.
Yeah, the rate.
The interest rate will be
less. Well,
compared to the market or the bank rate.
Yes. Well, Doctor, in this case, the first grace 3 or 2 or 1 grace period time of year, this is 0 interest rate, and then starting from the first year of repayment till the last year of the repayment, our interest rate is 1.6 per annum. So
great opportunity.
Yeah.
All right. Now, regarding the public sector, we have all the previous questions, they were about private. What do you think, in general, the role of investment company for the uplift of the countries? Because UAE, Middle East, mostly they're not the poor region. They are the region you mentioned, the country like Pakistan. Turkey is coming up, and the other countries in this region. How these investment companies can help the governments to uplift the standard of living and the economies in those countries?
Yeah, thank you, Doctor, for your question. It's a very important question. Absolutely, the investment company uplift the developing countries. The Middle East is one of the richest region in the world, but as we said, it's a mix between old and new, a mix between the poorest and the richest, mix in everything. That's why the international entity come over here and fund and invest in this region. For example, if we take one of the countries like Mauritania or Somal, this is one of the developed country which they need a lot of infrastructure project and a lot of government sector as well. And your question, Doctor, came in the right time, because we do have a meeting with the government of Mauritania, and even after 1 week from now, and even we do have a meeting with the government of Egypt for some of their projects after 3 days or 4 days maximum from now. Your question, sir, to how this can uplift the countries. Yes, it is uplifting the country, doing their infrastructure projects, doing the education sector, the health sector, and a lot of even their energy sector, a lot of activity which they are inquire the fund. So we do tie up with them and support them to reach to their aims and targets. Now, if we are talking about worldwide or orange concept in Switzerland, we are a private sector company, and we have the private equity, and we do trade on that fund and generate fund, but to help and support the private and government sector as well. But if we talk deeply about the government sector, we are doing the development and the supporting of the countries and the governments based on their sovereign guarantee, which has been issued from their central bank as a guarantee for us after we complete the funding journey with them. So we keep that sovereign guarantee with us to develop the projects and the regardless to the sector itself. But some scenario, because we do have a tie-up with some funding from the United Nations, and we select the countries, as I said, the safe zone away from the wars and the social or political problem. And if as a private sector, if we are not able to do, then we are communicating with some fund related to the United Nations, and we do the tie-up all together and support that country. Thank you. And I hope this answer covered the question, sir.
Yeah, excellent. Meanwhile, any participant has any question, please, you can write in the chat box or you can WhatsApp me. I will ask, or you can also directly ask the question. Okay, meanwhile, Mansoor, you mentioned the term e-commerce business. What do you think? Is it it's a need of the time now?
Well, Doctor, I think sometimes the crisis and the difficult and the pandemic create a successful stories, create a companies which was not known to the public, and then it come from that difficulty and from that pandemic or crisis. So if we look to back to the history, and we'll find the successful has been added to some companies during the pandemic, because all the world are all the people around the world use the online activity to sell and purchase. And the doctor, in my viewpoint, the e-commerce is the future of the world. As I mentioned earlier, if we go back 5 or 10 years, we can see only 5 to 10% people who can use the online service to do the trading, sell or purchase. But right now we can find 30 to 40% from the population in the Middle East or the globe who are using the e-commerce through Amazon or Noon or Talabat, or we can find all the e-commerce entity in the Middle East if we compare it with the global. So yes, I agree with you, Doctor. The e-commerce will play a very important role in the future because it came from a difficult time, but now I think even if after the pandemic and after COVID over, the people will remain using the e-commerce, and it will be a starting of really a successful story of a lot of people around the world.
That's covered. Yeah, that's great. Okay, as we will talk about the entrepreneur or the projects, the businesses. Now, if a young person who is pursuing the management degree, what do you think if they want to develop themselves for the career of investment companies, how they should plan themselves, what area they should focus, what type of skills, behavior, attitude they have to develop?
Thank you for your question, sir. I think I was talking about in one of my series in my YouTube channel about this topic. The investment in yourself, in developing yourself, is a very important towards the practical life and the practical market. So at this stage, if you are a student in the management degree, there is a lot of way to develop yourself towards the showtime in the future and the action in the business field. In my viewpoint, you have to complete your education towards the master or the DBA, or even to take other courses in the investments, and even to read about the investment. And my company is open for anyone from Bolton University, students who want to visit and to take an idea about it. They are most welcome. And I advise the students to read more and to develop and to spend and to invest on their self towards the invest courses or master in investment or DBA in investment. So this will help them in the practical. And before that, I advise them to read and to understand the winning field in the market. So the investment is one of the winning field. So this is my advice to the management students. I hope this covered the question, Doctor.
Exactly. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, yeah, we have. Let me just check. Okay, I have one question from one of our MBA students, and the question is that Rufat, can you talk to? Can you ask the question online, or you're in the office? Okay, let me read for you.
Yes, I can ask. Actually, I was.
Okay, Rufat, go ahead. Yes.
Hello, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. I just wanted to. If do your company invest to the new startups? If somebody has some idea and has developed some like a beginning project and he needs some investment to continue his startup to become as a proper company. So if does your company invest into this?
Thank you, Rufat, for your question. It is a very important question for the students and for the one who think to start up a successful project. The answer is yes. As I mentioned earlier, we select the good projects around the world and even the startup project, and we do our due diligence and our studies and our homework about that projects and how we can make it such a successful project. And not only about the funding or finance or tie up as a partner, it's about opening markets. It's about support in different way the project to be a really successful project in the local geographical area, and we might go further with you to extend or expand, make several branches, as Dr. mentioned earlier. I hope this covers your question, Rufat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm very sorry. Can I just additional ask one more question? What's the return from the investment? Expected return. So, for example, company invests into the project, it develops and it starts bringing money, let's say. So what's the main idea behind it? For example, why I'm asking, there are some students, let's say, they said that they had some ideas, they went for the business incubators. Some business incubators help them to develop to some area, some point. When it starts working, they said that this project's like let's say 95% belongs to us. You'll get only 5% of because everything was done by us. Okay, so they were said that so we work hard to get idea, we work together with them. So it was not like a so they developed it and took it from us. So this is the main question.
Thank you.
Business ethics.
Speaking straightforward, I'm just
you're right.
from the experience.
Yeah, thank you, Rufat, once again for your question. It's a very important question. Well, Rufat, as I said before signing any agreement with the other party, we do agreed internally upon each one role, who will do what, and about the percentage of the partner. You have the ideas, we do have the fund, and before that, together we will do our homework, and step by step we will discuss about these deeply specific points towards the final agreement. And when we sign in one agreement, in one document with the client, we never go back any further step. We go ahead, we go forward to make the successful story for both parties. You are right. Maybe some experience with someone in some part of the world happened, but from our side, when we sign, we committed to the agreement. Otherwise, there is a law and there is a penalty and there is a lot of things. I hope this cover your question, Rufat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is the first question of Rufat. Mansoor, actually, he was, what I understood, that as a startup businesses, is it a right way to seek the funding through the investment company?
Well, Doctor, yes, because the startup business might be a unique idea, might be a unique project, which no one reach to that idea. So the answer is yes, and it is good to knock the door and to seek the fund from the investment, because the good lender or the good investor who are having the full information about the market and having the full ideas, what's been done, what's not been done so far. So that's why I encourage and encourage the new projects to knock the door and to seek the fund from the investment company. Yes. I hope this covers.
You are emphasizing that it is in fact the new idea, which means the innovation.
Yes,
in
indeed.
the startup business. It's not the imitating the successful practices of already successful businesses.
That's right.
It's an innovative idea, unique idea, and there is no limit so far as the sector is concerned, whether it is e-commerce business sector, manufacturing, education, health sector, public sector. So investment companies, what we understand, it's open to they open their door to any sort of business. So far, it is within the criteria that the investment company is carrying. And your criteria is based on the philosophy that investment should be safe. It should be the rate of return for the company should be enough that it can meet the objectives of all the stakeholders.
Yes,
we also learn from your presentation the wider concept of Middle East that you have introduced. It was new to me as well, bringing Pakistan, Turkey into the Middle East. But okay, from your business perspective, it's right. And I agreed with your point when you're saying that the opportunities are actually is everywhere, and it is the diversity in the demographic of the country, demographic of the population, whether we have the opportunity, your company bridging the opportunities or bringing the opportunities in front of lenders as well as the borrowers. So it was great experience, Mansoor, because you are inside the business in the practical field, and our students, they are studying all these concepts in different courses. And we, University of Bolton Academic Center, Rasul Khaimah, we are always encouraging the entrepreneurs, the CEOs, the chairmen, or other professionals who have the real life exposure, and they can connect themselves to our students, and our students can connect their academic classroom learning with the real life experience. It was a great opportunity for us to have you with us, and we will keep bothering you in future, depending
100%.
on the nature of that.
I'm at your request, Doctor, anytime, and it's my pleasure and my honor to be with you and your students and the Pولتون University member, and I'm always at your request, Dr. Azim, and thank you for this good chance to introduce me to the students. Anytime I'm here, anytime I can participate with you, my doors is open, and thank you for this chance to share my knowledge and experience and my thought about the role of investment in the Middle East.
In the Middle East. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Thank you all students and other colleagues who attended this session. And the recording will be available on the cloud, and I will share the link. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mansoor.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.
all.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.